I'm only making 5 pounds of booze.
Soot everywhere. Camera's running on a 7.3. We got to put more oil in it.
The holder of the world record in Pro Street, the KC Turbo Crew from Mesa, Arizona.
Welcome back to another episode of the KC Podcast. I'm Cameron,
I'm Jason.
and we're joined today by our good friend.
Paul from Complete Performance.
What's going on, man? Thanks for coming in, dude.
Oh, yeah, no, I appreciate y'all having us out. And this is a really cool place. So
Yeah.
it's definitely cool to come out and see how vendors operate and their facilities and
Yeah.
know why you sell their product. So
Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we gotta impress you.
I mean, that 100 square foot warehouse you got is pretty impressive.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
I barely fit.
Yeah. He ducks like this when he walks in.
Yeah, and there's even room in the back. You know, maybe a go-kart track, or we're not sure what to do back there. Probably an automotive shop would be the responsible thing, but
Yeah, right.
We're in the diesel industry. We're not responsible.
yeah, that's true.
So it's actually 80,000 square feet here under roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
It's massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those that haven't seen it. So
Yeah. If
Yeah.
you haven't seen it yet, yeah. If you're local, come by, take a tour, hang out with us, say what's up.
Or if you're like me, not local, fly in.
Yeah. Fly in, hang out.
Exactly. So tell us a little bit about yourself. So you're from Texas.
Yeah. So I'm from Southeast Texas. Everybody thinks Texas is flat and desert, and everybody rides horses and wears cowboy hats, which is not true. I'm on the east side where it's pine trees and rivers and green, unlike here.
Yeah. No.
There's very few green here when you come into town.
Yeah.
Plenty of cactus, but
Yeah. That's
it's-
green.
here is what people think Texas looks like, and Texas is not what.
Right.
So
Well, Texas is so big. It's it's diverse. And so you're from the part of Texas that has gators,
yes,
right?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, plenty of gators.
Yeah.
a lot. The lake, I guess it's about 20 minutes from me. They just killed a 15-foot one off of
Oh,
that
damn.
lake.
Holy cow.
They're massive out there, but yeah. So I hail from the great state of Texas. We run Complete Performance, my brother and I. We specialize in basically 67 through 97 Ford F-Series trucks. So basically anything old F-Series, we kind of deal with. So
All right.
So you do a lot of classics as well.
yeah, most of our focus is the 92 to 97 trucks, but my brother's got quite a few of what they call the bump sides, which is the 67 through 72. So we've kind of been. Most companies go progressive and go to earlier models.
Go forward.
We're kind of regressive. We go backwards.
Right.
So we have been slowly working our way back, and probably going to stop at 67 because there's a lot of people from the 67 and older that's already in that market share.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we're kind of going to stick with that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Well, how'd you get into the F-Series market? Did you just buy a truck when you were young, or?
yeah. So I don't know. I guess it's a long story short here. I've always liked the 7.3 Powerstroke. I mean, I was 10 years old when they came out.
Yeah.
One of my best friends' mom and dad had one. I thought they were cool. My parents were looking for a new vehicle in late 97, early 98, and wound up buying a 97 model that was a holdover off of the local dealer lot in February of 98, I believe. So we've had one since then, and then when I turned 16, I spent 6 months looking for a truck. After I turned 16, I didn't just go buy a truck. I went and I bought the one that I wanted.
Yeah.
So I bought that, and then my brother's 4 years younger than me. When he turned 16, he got the truck that my parents bought new in 97, and he drove it until it had 400,000 miles on it.
Oh,
Still has it, but we still both have both of our first trucks.
Oh,
that's
Yeah.
cool.
that's kind of rare.
Yeah, so I always heard everybody growing up that regretted selling their first truck.
Right.
Oh, man, I wished I had that back.
Yeah.
It was this, and it was that. It was a one of this, and I mean, it didn't move the needle for me to sell mine. I paid cash for it when I bought it, so
Yeah.
Right.
like selling it, I wasn't going to gain anything.
Right.
So, and at the time, when I could have sold it, the 7.3s really weren't worth
Yeah.
a whole lot.
No.
So now it's probably worth more than what I paid for it in 2001. So I've actually made money on something that I bought in 2001. So.
Yeah.
That's and something about that OBS body style.
Yeah.
It's just I feel like in the early 2000s when I was in high school, that new F-150, the new Super Duty body style came out. You looked at the OBS and you thought, oh man, that it just looks dated. But now that we're 25, 30 years from when the first Powerstroke came out, it looks cool, and it definitely fits. It feels more classic, more vintage, is more timeless.
So I feel like Ford kind of knocked it out of the park with that style. Like you said, it's got that classic, that vintage feel. But Ford, and I'm sure I'm going to get some flame for this, they had the first real diesel pickup to market. So Cummins came out in 89, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Single cab, 2-wheel drive.
Right.
Paint didn't stay on them. Right. You drove it off the lot and the paint just flew off.
Classic Dodge.
Yeah.
So Ford had the 4-door truck, which Chevrolet had a 4-door, but you couldn't get. You could get the 6.2 in it, but
Right.
it had nowhere near the capability of the Powerstroke. Powerstroke came out in 94 and a half. It was the first real. I say real. Detroit had electronic and Cat had electronic stuff way back, but real time, was reading ICP and IPR and fuel pressure and a computer telling the injectors how to operate, which made the truck more efficient and had more power than just about anything else on the market. So I think it's like the iconic diesel truck of the 90s, I guess, if you will. Everybody else had one, but Cummins was still all mechanical. GM had the 6.2 and the 6.5 that, I mean,
But, yeah.
Anybody who's
Not
driven
great.
a Detroit diesel, it's a dog.
yeah. So then you have the Powerstroke come out in 94 and a half. The body style looked good. It had good performance. It was all electronically controlled. You had OBD2, so if something was wrong with it, you could plug a scanner in.
Yeah.
You could,
Do you guys mess with IDI at all? We get asked that question a lot.
Constantly. Yeah.
We're like,
So yes and no. So most of our business is restoration based. So fixing broken door handles and headlights and tail lights and cab lights and parts that aren't reproduced anymore. So we're not so much in the performance side of things. That's something that we offer, but mostly restoration.
Oh.
So I do a lot of restoration type stuff for them. They are kind of, for lack of a better word, the redheaded stepchild of the older trucks.
yeah.
There are quite a few companies out there that do make parts for them, and we do sell quite a few upgrades for them. I do think that if Casey had a turbo for them, that they would be a hot seller.
Running up the flagpole to the boss man.
Yeah. Ask Charlie.
Paul told us that it might be a good idea. So
Stop messing with these
comment below.
Duramaxes.
Tag Charlie.
The truck has the classic styling because it's got the good square body with the good body lines.
yeah.
Yeah.
So people like them. They're a little cheaper than the Powerstroke because the Powerstroke is the thing people want. And even the 460 trucks and the 351s and stuff, people are getting more into those. But the IDI being mechanical, more leaks, a little less power on them. Most of them were non-turbo, so there's all those things working against them. But they're gaining in popularity, but they also have the good body styling. So if they can have the good body styling, a little cheaper price on buying the truck overall, and can get a little more power out of it. So, I mean, I've got a 93 at the shop that's got the Banks turbo kit on it that was put on when it was sold brand new.
Oh.
It has all the paperwork from it when it was sold brand
Wow.
new. So yeah, it's got all the bells and whistles. It's got 15,000 miles on the whole truck. So, I mean, it's a great running truck. Fires up every time. I mean, all mechanical. So there's nothing to go wrong. But
Well, the IDI is the perfect end of the world scenario truck to have because you can just change your oil, throw it in the tank, and it'll run on. I mean, you throw pickle juice in there, it'll practically run.
Yep. I think if you could grind up coal fine enough, it would burn that. It wouldn't even clog up the injectors. So, I mean, they're a tank of a truck, if you will. So there's just their popularity hasn't got there yet, but it's coming for sure. That's the way I look at it, or I'm choosing to look at it anyway.
Yeah.
So
you said you do a lot of restoration. What do you do when the part isn't available, isn't produced anymore? Do you?
So
How do you design it?
So Chris and I have this thing that if any truck local to us is $1,000 or under, that's no BS. We just buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Condition, title, it doesn't matter.
I'm sure your wife loves that.
I have 26 acres to put them on.
Oh, okay. He's got the room.
They're stacked. The row is starting to be 3 deep right now. So, but out of all of the trucks, there's variations of everything.
Right.
So at least one of them has a good part that's probably not produced anymore. So I have that capability to go, this is what it looks like on the truck. This is a good example. This one's not bent, rusted, broke, whatever. And then we redesign based on that.
Oh, you do CAD drawing, 3D print, send it off to a machine shop?
3D scanners, 3D print on a lot of stuff, injection mold where we can. Typically what we'll do is we'll take the part, make sure that the original part is in good shape. We'll have it sent out, we'll have it 3D scanned to get a good model of it. Then we'll have it 3D printed, and then we'll test fit it.
Right.
And then we'll make sure that all of that fits like it's supposed to with no issues or actually fixes whatever issue we're looking at. And then we'll figure out what's the best way to make it. Does it need to be made out of metal? Does it need to be injection molded? Is it rubber? You know, what do we need to do based on what that 3D print is? And then we'll remake the part after that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What's the little thing you're the most proud of, even if it's just a bump stop or a little trim piece? What's the thing that you always think of, like, I'm so happy we just made that?
Man, that's a tough one. We got hooked up with the guys from Solo Motorsports out of West Covina, California, probably when we were 6 months into business. They make a thing called a door reinforcement plate. And these trucks are bad about everybody that's ever gotten in one, the door handles broke off of it. The door skin didn't have enough reinforcement in it. And so people yank on the door handle to open the door, and the door is flexing. And so they're yanking on the handle to make up for that flex that's in the door, break the handle off.
Yep.
What happens is the door stresses and cracks and busts out. Well, there's a couple of ways to fix it. One is to swap another door onto your truck. 26-year-old truck, getting the doors hard, then you've got to try and find one that paint matches, that's faded right, blah, blah, blah. The other way is to break out the old Harbor Freight welder and try and weld up the cracks on the door.
Zip it up.
and do it that way. And what people did for a long time is they got big fender washers and basically welded them in the door and whatnot. They came up with reinforcement plate, and it's just a special bent plate that goes in the door and takes, I think it's 8 rivets to the door. Fixes that structural issue, strengthens up that section of the door. If your door is cracked or busted, it fixes that, or it's not going to crack anymore. I think we sell 500 of those a month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a $39 piece. You know, we sell. I think we sell more than they do of that particular one. I actually just visited their facility in June, and they have a whole section of pallet racking that's just labeled Complete Performance because of the product that we buy from them. That we do.
That's a solid partnership.
Yeah, and a lot of times we go back and forth on ideas of like, hey, if we had this built for a truck, I think it would sell, or if this was built for a truck, I think it would sell. And they actually have one of our trucks out there right now that they're doing some R&D on some new products.
Okay.
On one of our personal trucks. So it's a great partnership. It's like working with y'all.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, we got this idea. Hey, let's go with it.
Yeah, let's do it.
You know. What's the worst that's going to happen? It sells a whole bunch, or that wasn't quite it, so let's tweak it a little bit.
Yeah.
And now we have this new item that is the best thing since sliced bread.
Yep,
So-
exactly.
That's something I love about the automotive industry in general, but especially within the diesel industry is the camaraderie, the helping, lifting each other up, working with each other, and even companies where it's like, hey, we can be competitors and that's fine, and we can be, I feel like it's accentuated in the diesel industry that more so than any other that I've seen or been a part of.
This is a bit, I guess, counterintuitive to what business should be, because everybody's in a competition of sorts.
Right.
Like, I need to sell more than you. I need to be better than you. Blah blah blah, because that makes me a winner. But I look at it as if I'm helping you to sell a product and you're helping me to buy a product. We're helping each other, and we're both going to get better. To which most people are, in business are competing against their fellow person. But I would rather work with, quote unquote, my competitor.
Right.
Because if we're both doing good, we're both helping our customers. At the end of the day, if you ask most people what they're in business for, they're going to tell you they're in business to make money. But the real truth of the business is you're there to help your customer.
Right.
And if you solve whatever their problem is, money is a secondary or a byproduct of that.
Right.
So the better you can help your customer, the more money that you're going to make in the long run, the happier everybody is, because the customer got their problem solved. You made money. You were able to pay your payroll and live your life. So it's a win-win all the way around.
Right.
So that's the way I choose to look at business and working back and forth, kind of like what you were saying. I would rather work with somebody than I can make that better than you. Why? You already do a good job at it. Let me sell it.
Yeah.
Let me promote this product. Let me help my customer with what you're creating to help people with.
Right.
And then it's a win-win. That's the way I look at it anyway.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. But you heard that. That's a good reason why you should go to Complete Performance for your needs. So, where did you guys start? How did you start and why? You said making money and to help people, but there had to have been some sort of trigger.
Yeah. So when I was in college, I lived down the street from an off-road shop, and I went by there every day because I liked four-wheel drives and all that stuff. And I, for lack of a better word, I begged for a job. And no, we don't need anybody. No, we don't need anybody. So I'd just hang out and I'd throw stuff away in the dumpsters and I'd sweep the shop. I didn't have nothing else to do. I was a college kid, right? I wasn't in class and first year of college and all that. So I was killing time. And I showed up one day and the owner was like, "You still want that job? My salesman quit." I was like, "Hey, I'll take the job, sure." And he gave me a real fast rundown. This is the phone. This is the numbers you call for this. This is where you get this from. And then he's like, "I'm going to be gone for the next hour and a half. You got it." First day on the job. It's like, oh, okay. I only had 2 customers come in, but I showed him what I did. And he's like, "Yeah, close enough, good enough." And then it worked from there. When I graduated college, I had the opportunity to move back home and work with a guy as a partner in a diesel performance shop. And come to find out that I was an unpaid employee, me and my brother. And so we burned through all of our saved money, and one night we sat down and we were like, we're broke, got no prospects of making any money anytime soon. We're anytime we want to make a decision, we're overruled because we're not actual owners of this place, so let's just start our own thing. And so we went to the shop one night and took everything that belonged to us out of the shop in the middle of the night and moved down the street the next day and hung up a sign and didn't have hardly any customers for a long time. A lot of people in town, I think, felt sorry for us and would come by and have us do odds and ends things because we're local and we were trying to do something, so they would help us out.
Yeah.
I know there was a lot of days when Chris was still in college, I was graduated. He would come into work and basically catch up on his sleep at work because we didn't have nothing else going, you know. And I was burning up the forums at the time because Facebook wasn't a real thing. And I was burning up the forums trying to sell products, or get people to come by or get people to bring their vehicles to us. And, I just kind of slowly propelled from there. And I guess it was around, it's probably somewhere around 16 or 17, that range. Dave Ramsey's got a book called EntreLeadership. And if you read it, it basically says if you try and do too many things, you'll never be good at any one particular thing. And so we were trying to be the best Cummins mechanics and the best Powerstroke mechanic and the best Duramax mechanic. And I mean, we were good at it, but we weren't great at it. And then we realized that we both drive Powerstrokes, older ones, and a lot of crap's broke on them, and we're having to fix stuff all the time. And if we're having to do that, somebody else is having to do that. So let's do a spin-off and see if we can help people fix their problems on their other vehicles that they have that are similar. So we did a spin-off of our mechanic shop for online parts for 94 to 97, and it kind of grew from there. So
Oh, that's awesome. I think when you have a passion like that, we drive these trucks, we like them. That passion drives innovation. It drives the company.
yeah, I mean, we both were. That's what we were driving day in and day out. And like I said, we were able to fix stuff day in and day out of what we were breaking. And when we got to thinking about it, like, we've been driving these things for like 10 years now. There's got to be other people that need.
Yeah. We've done every job on this truck because it keeps breaking.
Yeah, basically, or lift it, lower it, lift it again, bring it back to stock. All the rage in the mid 2000s were stacks in trucks, so we had, we did the stacks in them, and 5-inch exhaust and this, that, and the other, and so it just kind of tumbled from there, and we wanted to be able to offer more stuff to people, and then we started reaching out to other manufacturers like, hey, can we sell your product? Can we do this? Can we do that? And it just kind of snowballed to where that was, I won't say it was our main source of income, but it was getting to be where like most of our focus was there, and the mechanic shop was kind of flailing a bit. And shout out to Barry Carter over at S&B. We went to SEMA in 2018 with the dilemma of like the mechanic shop is just killing us, for lack of a better word. Barry said, ask yourself 2 questions. Are you making money? And are you having fun? And if you answer no to either one of those questions, you need to reevaluate yourself. If you're not making money and you're not having any fun, stop. Why are you still doing it? And a lot of people get hung up in the identity of themselves in their business. This is like, we did it for 10 years, I think, at that point in time. Like we'd been doing it for 10 years, so that was like our life. It's what people knew us for and things, and you kind of get hung up in it, and it was like, we can't just quit. We've got all this time invested. And I think that's where a lot of hiccup happens in people with business is you get like cow on a path, and you do the same thing every day, and it becomes you, and then before you know it, you're 70 and been doing the same thing, and you haven't broke out of that mold.
Right.
And it was more hard for me than it was my brother, because I'm change averse. Like, if it's been green my whole life and you paint it red, it throws me for a loop. Like, I just don't like it. So it was harder for me. He was like, I'll go lock the doors tomorrow, so we kind of come up with a game plan to phase out of the mechanic shop when we got back. Worked out well because we were trying to figure out how to transition our employees that were in the mechanic shop into our online business. And the biggest one was our mechanic at the time. We were like, what do you do? Like, how do I transition you into a web store application when you're a wrench, right? And when we got back from SEMA and we made the decision to go web store based, when we came in that next Monday, he handed us a 2-week notice. And he's like, hey, I found a better job. I'm going to go in 2 weeks to this better job. And we were like, whoa. Like, the universe comes together and works out in your favor. And, like, hey, I'm glad that you found someplace, because I was not looking forward to having to let you go because I couldn't figure out a place that you needed to be. And it worked out perfect. Like, he got a better paying job, went on to become very successful in what he's doing. And we were able to transition all of our other employees over into the web base because they were sales or administrative anyway. So you still need that in the web based business. So it worked out. And, we just kind of have been growing from there. And it's got to the point now where manufacturers are reaching out to us like, hey, we know that this is what you do. Can you sell this product? Or we have this widget and we think you could move a lot of them. We'll consign you some, or, hey, like right now, hey, come out and visit our facility. Like, how do we work better together at this point instead of going, yeah, okay, we'll sell you some turbos. Like, they're gonna sell 2 a year. Great. Yay. So I think we sold 25 turbos last month through y'all for just the 94 and 97 trucks. So I think, that's probably drop in the bucket to some of your other dealers, but I feel like that's pretty good for older trucks.
That's real good for the OBS stuff.
Yeah. What if a manufacturer, parts manufacturer, wants to reach out? What is the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Probably the easiest, fastest is to either email myself or Chris, Paul at CP Addict or Chris at CP Addict is the fastest. That way we can keep track of it, because there's phone calls and daily chores that it kind of gets lost. A phone call gets lost where an email is right there, and I put it on a schedule, and then usually we'll do a Zoom meeting of sorts like we did here a while back. You know, work it out that way. It's and it's a whole lot easier, and you get a better sense of who you're dealing with when you can see them in person, whether that's a Zoom or a Google Meets or whatever that may be. Like, I can see your facial expression, you can see mine. I can tell if you're serious, you can tell if I'm serious. Or am I picking my nose and looking off somewhere else because I'm not really interested in your sales pitch? You know what I mean? So that's the way that we prefer it. So
cool.
Or catch me at an event, you know, or fly out. I live in the middle of nowhere, so
closest airport, a couple hours away.
3.
I figured.
So, but like one of our vendors, 7.3 Dipstick Fix, Mitch Olson. We were his first dealer. He literally drove from California and drove out to our shop, stopped at our shop, and come by the shop. So
that's someone who's serious about their product.
Committed,
So he was moving from California to Tennessee, so he took a
little detour,
divert down and come to visit us, and he's come by 2 or 3 times since then. So
that's cool.
We sell a ton of his product and try and help him move as much as we can. So
So then, what's the future? What's the next? What are you looking forward to?
We've discussed this, I guess, with some of your team here recently. Is getting more systems in place so we can get a better response for our customers. We aren't Amazon, and I don't ever intend to be, because
people are spoiled with Amazon. You know, that same day shipping is nuts.
We would love to have a 48 to 72 hour ship time, because it helps the customer get their vehicle back. Again, if we help them, that's the whole end goal. Right now we're 3 to 5 business days. I mean, there's only 7 of us total. A lot of people think that there's like 30 people working there, but you know, there's only 7 of us, and we do what we can, and we're trying to put systems in place to be able to speed the process up and go faster and be able to take care of everybody faster. I think if I can get that process down, Chris is back working on that right now. If we can get that lined out in a smoother manner, that helps the customer immensely. And if we can help the customer even better than we already are, the sales come from that, and then the company grows from that, and then the more product that I can offer from that, and then the faster that I can ship things, and then, you know, it just kind of, it's a snowball effect.
Right.
You know, if it ever gets to rolling, it just kind of keeps going.
Yeah.
And that's the plan at the end of the day. You know, help more people.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, are you allowed to talk about any special prototypes, new products you're thinking about potentially? Yeah,
so we just got these in last week. We're actually, so we QC everything.
Yeah.
If it ships from our warehouse and it doesn't come, like, say a turbo comes direct from you guys, because it doesn't make sense to ship it to me and then ship it from me to the customer, right? Anything that's in our warehouse that we have, I have 2 people that it goes through their hands before it makes it to the shelf, before it gets to a customer. So if it winds up broke or defective, my process was either wrong or shipping messed it up, or the customer broke it when they got it. And with the photo that leaves the warehouse when it ships, it's usually shipping or customer that broke it. So we're QCing 800 sets of OBS headlights right now, 2 of which are a brand new design that nobody's ever had on the market before.
Okay.
So they're technically for pre-sale on our website right now, but that's been the biggest launch. The other thing that we're working on that's I think has been a big hindrance for a lot of people, especially the Powerstroke guys, is the Ford discontinued making the washer fluid bottle about a year and a half ago, I guess. I bought up the last of the stock that they had, and we built a prototype, and test fit it and got all the measurements right and got everything right. And they're actually in production right now. We should have.
That's awesome.
I think we have 500 of them coming. Should be in about 2 months, something like that. So the plastic on a 30-year-old truck is
It's
just
gone.
Yeah. So a lot of times it's chalky and it's the top's cracked and busted off of it, and can't buy them new from Ford, and it's not something that Dorman makes or anybody remakes. So we had them remade for us that fits the factory little washer pump and fits the factory spec and bolts right in. So that's something that's not for pre-sale or anything right now. It's something that's coming again once we get them. And we
Got to QC all 500 of them.
We got to go through
Make
QC,
sure they all fit.
because if QC turns out that they messed up the mold or something like that when they were making them, I got to send them back and got to get done again. But it's really easy to get like metal stuff made in the U.S. But getting injection molded plastic of any type is ridiculous because of the EPA regulations. You have to source it out of the United States to. There's no options in the States for it. And that's the hard part.
And when you outsource outside the United States, there is options on quality. You know, that's a common misconception is, you know, they think, oh, well, anything not made in the United States is going to be garbage. Well, that's just not true, because there's stuff that's made in the United States that's garbage. You know, so
Isn't that a fact? Well, it's I would love to be able to sell everything American made.
yeah.
Like that would be the best option there is. But we can't because of regulations that just don't allow it in America anymore, which is sad, but that's a whole different discussion
Right.
For another day. But that's kind of why we have our QC process is we purchase the best raw materials we can. We find the best manufacturer we can, so we get the best possible product. But we don't just get them in boxes and go, those are great. Put them on the shelf, send them to customers, and then customers get stuff that's twisted or garbage or broke or whatever. Like they'll come out of every box and they'll be physically
inspected, checked, tested.
Test stand that they'll put them up to, and they'll make sure that the bolt holes line up and everything fits like it's supposed to. If somebody gets one and something is wrong with it, it's gonna be a crazy fluke.
Yeah, which is nice because normally, like, I come from the car scene before I got into KC and all the diesel stuff. A bolt on, you know, it was never bolt on.
And unfortunately, even with a QC process, there's a lot of times when stuff should be bolt on and it's not.
Yeah.
And I will put it this way: these trucks are at newest 26 years old.
Right.
So they're in, 200,000 miles on a 26-year-old truck. There's things that have moved and twisted and not where it should be. And then manufacturing processes in the 90s were not near as precise as they are today. So
if something was made on a Wednesday or a Thursday.
It's all about the tolerance stack up. That's what Alex and I talked about a long time for his little grill cover,
So that's a big thing is like no two OBS trucks are built exactly the same because of manufacturing tolerances that they had in the 90s. So what fits on our test truck may take some tweaking to fit on your truck. So we try and pick a happy medium. We've got one Powerstroke there that's got 900 miles on it. So everything is still
it's
new.
mint. It's perfect.
What it would have looked like when it came off the showroom floor. And then we have some trucks with 600,000 miles on it. So we do a comparison between the 900-mile truck.
How far off is it?
And what's the tolerance that we can get away with on this that should fit most customer vehicles without them having to re-engineer a product that we're sending them. So at the end of the day, you don't want to send somebody and go, make it work.
Yep, good luck.
Yeah,
that's what I'm used to,
You know what I mean? Like, that's not fair to the customer that just spent their hard-earned money with you.
Right.
You want to be as easy to deal with as possible for them. They don't need to be running around town trying to find something. I live in a small town. There's got Napa, O'Reilly, and that's AutoZone. I mean, I don't need air fresheners, so I don't ever go there. So you don't have options to make stuff work because it needs to work out of the box.
Yeah.
So I'm used to being in the middle of nowhere, most of my customers or our customers are, you know, they're probably on a farm or something along those lines. So it's not just as easy for them to go, I run to town and get that new bolt real fast that the part should have came with, right?
Yeah.
So we try and be as comprehensive as we can and try and think of like all scenarios of like, are they going to be able to do this in their driveway at home? The whole Power Block TV where we're going to rebuild this Powerstroke in 72 hours on this TV show. Let's fire up the $10,000 vehicle lift. And let's roll over the Snap-on toolbox with $80,000 worth of tools in it. Meanwhile, you're looking at the dirt ground with the Craftsman 100-piece set going, can I make this work?
Yep.
So, you know, we try and make our products work as effectively with minimal tools as we can, again, to help the customer out. Again, some things just, you need the professional stuff to install it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but like we sell KC turbos, the drop-in turbos. If you've got decent mechanical skills, you can put one in your driveway. You know, you don't. And I'm not knocking T4 setups because they have their place too, but a drop-in is easy to do at your house, in your driveway, in your garage, in your shop, drinking beer with your buddies. Yeah. And then it's drop-in for a reason. If you're in the middle of BFE and your turbo grenades, never had that happen, but just worst case scenario, Napa's probably got one on the shelf that you can get. Like if you're like in a bind, you can't wait for a warranty to show up. Like you can put this truck back on the road and be down the road in a couple of hours. Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so that's like why the KC Turbo is one of our number one sellers, is because it's just a drop in. It's you know, new up pipes and a new pedestal. Win-win. Yeah. You know, customers ready to go.
Yeah. Fix your exhaust leaks too. Looking at you, 7.3 guys.
Whee! Soot everywhere.
Yeah. Why does this thing not have any power?
Yeah, this KC Turbo sucks.
Yeah. I'm only making 5 pounds of boost.
The best is my 7.3's rear main leaks. No, it doesn't. It's coming from your exhaust back pressure valve. That's where it's coming from. It's coming out of the valley, down the back of the motor, and dripping off of the transmission. Your rear main is not leaking. If you pull the trans and your rear main is leaking, throw that motor away and get another one. Yep.
Well, we have a lot of dealers. You know, KC Turbo is kind of unique because our customers can buy directly from us, but we have a network of dealers that we. You know, maybe some of them we like more than others. Maybe we don't. You know, we'll never say.
Yeah.
But if a customer is interested in buying,
dealer here.
Yeah.
Buy from me.
And that's my question. Why should a customer buy from you?
So we've tried to set our place up to be a one-stop shop. So your turbo's got an oil leak on it, or the blades are tore up, but at the same time, your door handles broke off and your headlights are fogged up. You can buy it all from me. One stop. You got one point of contact to email of like, hey, when's this going to get here? Can you check on this? I've got a warranty issue. You're not dealing with 3 different people at 3 different places, and maybe one of them is in China and it's the language barrier or whatever it could be. That's, you know, and you just wind up having to buy another one because you can't ever get anywhere with somebody. You can get it all directly from me in one stop. Both techs that we have on the phones are really knowledgeable about the trucks. One of them daily drives an OBS, so he knows.
You guys are the OBS experts.
So yeah, and so if I don't know the answer, I know somebody that knows the answer.
Right.
And I guess here's tooting our own horn here a bit. If I've got an issue with a KC Turbo, let's just use that for an example, right? It's not like, let me see what I can do. I'm going to call direct over here. And I'm going to talk to James or Alex or
Arnold, you know.
Yeah, Arnold. I'm not going to do him that way. Or, I mean, worst case scenario, if it has to go all this direction, I can get a hold of Charlie.
Yeah, that's true.
I have a direct line with Charlie and be like, look, I know this customer's not blowing smoke. This turbo is junk. He did everything he was supposed to. This is a disclaimer. This never happened. So this is example only.
Yeah.
I can get it taken care of now, yesterday. You know what I mean? There's no lag time. There's no wait time. You don't have to worry if your turbo is going to be taken care of or whatnot. We have that connection with our vendors. We try to have it with all of our vendors to be able to go, hey, our customers is not joking. This is not they're not trying to get something for free. We've gone through all the steps that this could be. This is, we need a replacement.
Yeah.
And Charlie, the last couple times I've talked to him, he's like, hey, if you got a customer with an issue, I want it resolved. I don't want them to have a bad taste in their mouth because they've got something from us and they think it's junk.
Yeah.
I want it fixed. So just let me know. I will do whatever I can in my power to fix your issue. And I mean, that's why we want to sell products like that, is because we have the dealer support or the manufacturer support behind what we're selling. We also have that direct connection that I feel some of the other people that maybe just having an eBay store, and I'm trying not to knock here, but if you're selling under your parents' garage,
it's like a drop shipper.
you probably don't have that connection.
Right.
I mean, I'm sitting in the KC podcast studio right now.
Nice place.
Yeah, a super nice place. Their 80,000 square foot facility here, discussing turbos and OBS trucks. I feel like I have a better advantage over my competition in that aspect of, like, you're going to take me serious when I call about an issue.
Yep.
If I'm calling about an issue, it's a legit issue because I've tried everything I can. I didn't sell them junk. I didn't sell them somebody else's turbo. They're not trying to warranty your turbo for other named turbos not mentioned in this podcast. So I guess that's where I'm going with that, is like, you want to be able to help your customer, again, like we talked about at the beginning of the show. And if we can help the customer, that's the main goal at the end of the day. And I also know when I sell a KC turbo, it's not coming back.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about it. I mean, when I sell it, I know what the customer specs are, what they need, and I'm going to sell them the proper size turbo. And if I've got a question about what proper sizing of the turbo is, I just reach out and go, hey, this is what my customer's got. This is what I think. Yes, no. Do you have a different suggestion on what turbo they need? And, I'll get corrected if, like, hey, the stage 2 would be good, but their injectors are just about that much bigger than the stage 2 really likes. So go with the stage 3 with 0.84 housing with this wheel in it. This is the part number for it. Sell them that. They're going to be the most happy with that. Bam.
Yeah, done.
I can give the customer informed information where they can make an informed decision and they can get the best product for their vehicle.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, and this is generalizing here, they try to make money. So they're selling you whatever they're going to be able to sell you to make money. Everybody knows at our place, we don't sell somebody something unless they need it. So if somebody calls in and they've got a set of 160 zeros and they're like, I want a stage 3 turbo, and it's like, dude, this thing is going to be garbage. I'll sell you that, and I'll tell you why I'll sell it to you. This is what I suggest. This is going to be better for your truck. Or let's just say they don't even need a turbo and they called up, looking for a turbo. I'm not going to talk them out of a turbo, but I'm going to give them the reasons why maybe they don't need it right now.
Yeah.
Because I don't need your money that bad to basically rob it out of your pocket.
I love that. That's the difference between a customer service team that does sales and a sales team.
Yeah. But if somebody calls in, they're like, hey, I want injectors, turbo, oil pump, I want a good, reliable daily driver.
Yeah.
My team is not going to be like, you need 238 200s and you need a stage 3, like, hey, okay, what's your goal with your truck? What at the end of the day, what are you
Do you
looking
still want
for?
to tow?
Yeah, like, are you worried about EGTs? Is this a daily driver? Are you pulling a camper trailer? Like, and for most people, they'll call up and they're like, I want all this stuff. They need 160 zeros, a drop in, and an e-fuel.
Yeah.
And it's a fun truck, reliable. It's not going to break. It's going to drive the same as it was driving 26 years ago, just with new upgrades in it. And it's just going to be fun. I forgot Hydra. It'll have to have Hydra.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
But I mean, it's just a fun driver, and my team is going to try and get them the best result that they will net out of that truck without going, yeah, I'll sell you everything you want.
Yeah.
And when you hate your truck in 6 months, call me back and we'll sell you more stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and I think that's a very important thing for people is I don't know, I don't like being taken advantage of, so I don't want to take advantage of somebody else. I will sell you what you want. The team will sell you what you want. They will also give you some information to make an informed decision on what you want or need. You know, and sometimes we'll make 2 or 3 options. Like, okay, this is what you wanted. Here's your quote for that. Here's what I really recommend. Here's a quote for that. And then here's kind of a middle ground of what the two, between the two of those are in a quote. You have any questions, you call back. We'll discuss each quote and why they're different and what you think is best. And then it lets somebody makes an informed decision for a customer. So just getting something rammed down their throat.
Yeah. And that's probably why we get along so well too, because that's exactly that's our philosophy. Casey Turbo. Somebody calls in, hey, I think I need a turbo. It's like, well, did you try this? And then they try it, and then they don't need a turbo. It's like, well, I'm not going to sell you something you don't need.
Well, and then when they do need a turbo, they know who took care of them.
Right.
Exactly.
And who's going to give them good customer service, and who's actually going to sell them what they need as far as a turbo goes, rather than need this off the wall weird thing that nobody in the world has. And
I saw this one thing on a forum post 8 years ago. They said it was the best.
well, I mean, I travel a lot, and I travel with my family a lot. I still drive old trucks. I mean, that's just
That's what you like.
I practice what I preach.
Yeah.
Like, I daily drive a 97 Powerstroke.
Uh-huh.
So, if I'm in Colorado in the mountains and my truck is busted, I want to be able to fix it with not a random one-off oddball I can't
Custom
get
parts.
anywhere. We live in America, so it's easier to get things. So, like, I could definitely get something shipped, but if I don't need to, why would I?
Right.
And why would I want to put my customer in that same position?
Yeah.
So, like, hey, there's a lot of stuff that you buy out there that there's only one place to get it from, and that kind of puts you in a pickle.
Yeah. Right. And then what happens when that company goes bankrupt?
Exactly.
'Cause that's happened way more than once in this industry.
Yeah.
I heard in your personal time you do something pretty cool. You're not just serving customers, but you're serving people in your community.
Yeah, so don't let the beard fool you at the moment. I am a volunteer firefighter. I just went through Fire Academy and have become a certified Texas firefighter. My dad is actually one of the charter members of our local fire department. Him and 10 other guys from the local community started it in '85.
All right.
So I've been going since I was little. Both myself and Chris. I am the local public information officer for our fire department. But I've got everything but my medical certification, which I'm going to hopefully start in the fall, working on my medical certification so I can be completely 100% Texas certified. Because in Texas, if you want to hold a Texas fire license, you have to have a basic EMT.
Yeah.
And I haven't got that far yet. I'm still a little squeamish on the blood and knowing all the stuff. So I'm trying to work through that in my head. So, but yeah, that's a Monday night. We volunteer and then we run calls during the day. And being self-employed, if something comes up in the middle of the day, we can cut loose and go take care of whatever we need to take care of. So we actually run with we run with 4 departments, because where our shop is located, it's in the middle of like 4 different volunteer departments. So since we're at work, we can kind of go as they need help.
Damn, that's nice.
So volunteer department, usually 20 members in one. If you got 7 that show up regularly, you're doing pretty good. And then middle of the day, most everybody has a day job.
Yeah.
So closest paid department to us is hour and a half away.
Yeah. Jeez.
So everything local is volunteer.
That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of dedication.
Yeah.
Just to sacrifice.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the drive for it?
We don't run a ton of calls a year, but when somebody does need help, you want to try and be there to help where you can in their time of need, because they're usually watching all of their possessions either go up in flames or somebody's smashed up in a car and you're trying to get them out, and that's somebody that they love and care for and all that. And you've got to try and be dignified and be professional and all of that all at the same time. So I mean, volunteer, it's not paid. I don't do it every day, but I have to have all the same skills and qualifications.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe I don't always save the house from burning all the way down because it's in the middle of nowhere, but we try our best. So
Yeah.
and we train every week and keep our equipment nice and try and make sure it's all serviced and ready to go for the next one.
Yeah. So you guys drive around in like an old Powerstroke or?
No, all of our stuff is pretty new at the department, but I think it was 91. My dad bought a brand new F Super Duty 91 from the local Ford dealership for the fire department. It was their first new truck. It was cabin chassis, 11-foot frame truck. And then the fire department members built the bed, built the tank, built the pump, built the hose reels, all for this brush truck at the station. So it was cobbled together, but it was on a brand new truck chassis.
Yeah.
460 with a 5-speed in it, F Super Duty. And it served the community up until about 8 years or so ago when we got new trucks. And we got new trucks about 8 years ago, and that was replaced then. And it went into a Helping Hands program and went to another local department that didn't have anything. And it still is serving them in their department. So,
Man, that's awesome.
I've been trying to buy it back.
Yeah. Hey, let me buy it.
Yeah. I run into their chief the other day, and I said, if you ever sell the truck, just let me know. I want to buy it back. I'll even replace it with something else if you need me to. But don't let it just go to scrap or whatever. Let me know, and we'll buy it back so I can have that. So.
Yeah, that would be really neat.
But yeah, they started with nothing. They were meeting out at a guy's garage, and they all signed a note saying that they would pay for this 1954 fire truck that they bought at a government auction that the bank loaned them for, and they put it in a guy's garage at his house and hung all their gear in his garage on nails in the garage.
Oh, man.
And when there was a fire call went out, they all went to the garage and got on the fire truck, the one fire truck, and responded to fire calls. Now the station's got 8 trucks in it now.
Okay.
So the oldest truck's a 2003.
Where do you think the diesel industry as a whole is headed? We have California that kind of controls the EPA in a way, and so is it going away? You have a kind of a finite group of trucks that you work with. So what's the future look like?
It's not going away. The Chevron doctrine that they just reversed is going to help a lot. It's going to take a lot of power away from the people that arbitrarily make laws that don't make any sense whatsoever. So it's not going anywhere. The way I look at it is 2-cylinder John Deere tractors, right? Y'all know anybody that's got one? Seen one in person at a tractor show anywhere?
Hard to say.
Okay. So they were built from like 1930 to 52, 56, somewhere in that range for the new generation.
Then Andy Warren has one for sure, because that guy collects all kinds of tractors. He's got a great collection.
Okay, so they were built to work. They were built almost 100 years ago now. And there's people that still collect and restore those. Another fine example, I guess you could look at like Tom's Bronco parts. Look at Jeff's great Bronco graveyard. Look at Wild Horse's 4x4 out in California. They were Bronco specific, basically 67 through 96 before the new generation just released from Ford. That's their whole business model, is those. And think of what a 67 Bronco costs right now.
A lot of money.
Yeah. It's what's going to happen with trucks.
Yeah.
So the baby boomer generation liked muscle cars, and they wanted Corvettes and SS Camaros and Yankos and Mach 1 Mustangs, blah, blah, blah. My generation, or Generation X and Millennials, because I fall right there at the edge of both of those, they like the classic four-wheel drives and diesels. And whether people want to admit it or not, the old Powerstrokes, the Cummins, the 6.2s, the Broncos, stuff like that. That's the new classic. That's the new 68 Camaro SS. That's the new Mach 1 Mustang.
Yep.
And a lot of us, our parents had one growing up. Grandpa had one. Saw them new on the lot. Couldn't afford them. Now some of us have a few bucks in our pocket and want to relive childhood, or grandpa sold the truck, or mom and dad got pregnant with me and they got rid of the truck and now want to get it back because dad had it and whatever else, right? Or me and dad went to truck shows in his 92 truck with 16 inches of lift and 15 by 14 weld super singles on boggers, right? And it just wasn't practical, and so he got rid of it, blah blah blah. I want that truck back. And so you've got a few bucks in your pocket, you've got your daily commuter that you're driving right now, but you want the show truck in the garage. Like your dad had 68 Camaro, you've got a 1-ton Ford on 44 sitting in the garage. That's where the market's going.
Yeah.
Some people want to believe it, some people don't. I mean, you can't touch a clean low mile Powerstroke for under 30 grand anymore. If you do, the seller didn't know what they had, or you actually bought a turd that somebody put lipstick on. Because it was
so true.
If it's a true survivor type truck that hasn't had a bunch done to it, and it truly is a low mile truck, it's worth a lot of money.
A Centurion. Do you have one in your car lot?
How many do you want?
Oh, he does. Those are cool.
Yeah, I've got a 4-door Bronco, which they weren't really Broncos, but I've got one of those. I've got 2 4-door F-150s from that year model, and I've got a 350 dually. I've also got a Centaurus. My brother's got a Centaurus, which is another conversion company. We've got a 4-door Metropolitan Bronco, the only one made in 1986. And then we've got a 4-door DeBryan Bronco, the only one made in 1994.
Well, thank you so much for coming out and chatting with us.
Appreciate y'all having me out.
Yeah. We appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you so much to you, Paul, and Jason for joining me.
Yeah. And if you need parts for your OBS, any 7.3 or all the way back to 67, don't forget to hit up Complete Performance. And we'll see you next time.